Light. Well, light, I think, is knowledge. Knowledge is love. Love is freedom. Freedom is energy. Without any doubt, without light, we can't have an image. But light, for us can be the chance we can tell what we have inside ourselves. There is something very, very important. You create in your own style, in any expression, personally in cinematography, only when you know in an unconscious way or conscious way who you are, what really you need to know. And you really want to investigating in what is your life mean. And only through this kind of discovery, step by step, you realize yourself. And you put your signature in every frame, because particularly just changing the color temperature in one single light is changing completely the emotion that you have in your mind. There is no doubt that just with this little movement over here, practically the mood that I want to tell now is completely different. I'm going more into introspection. I'm going more into the intellectual world. Because if you don't know why we're using the shadows, completely black, why we're using this light. Shadows means non-knowing. Light means knowing, knowledge. Light is really what is an inspiration of the human being to know his future, let's say. It belongs to consciousness, like darkness belongs to unconscious. So the relationship between this light and this darkness is very, very important. If I am totally light like that, I'm telling something very specific. I'm facing myself towards knowledge. If I'm facing myself in darkness, means that I have a doubt. It's something that I don't know. It's something that I would love to know. And when you put in relation this and this, you practically start to make a balance between two elements. Through cinematography, through our expression in this case, we are trying to understand who we are, to try to understand what our life means. And I discovered through this concentration in what I'm trying to express myself in searching for balance. I always need two different elements, light and shadows, conscious and unconscious, male and female side, in order to tell why they are separated, why they are not together. Only in doing this kind of journey, I was able to put myself completely into the light itself, and I started to go into the children of shadows and light, what Leonardo da Vinci was calling them, colors. Those give me the different emotional level. And only when I started to separate in light and shadows, color by color, I realized that only knowing them, I can put them together in the equilibrium of element. This is what my life means now. I discovered through this incredible journey on searching, experimenting, never stop to open a door of mystery. I believe that for how long we are knowledgeable in technology or in art, in our professional, we never know the end of our journey. And that's what is great. When we start any project, we more or less know where we're going, for how far we can be prepared. But every day is a discovery, and we never should be afraid to open a new door of the mystery and discover something new. This is the meaning of our life, discovering.
Tracy, are you okay?
Because usually, particularly in Italy,
there is so many news in every church. There are statues, there are paintings. Sometimes, if you're lucky, there is also music from the organ. At that day, there was incredible silence into this little church. And I saw a few people on the left side of the church looking up. And I don't know why, step by step, they'd approach. Suddenly, I saw these images. The image of Michelangelo Merisi called Il Caravaggio. They painted the calling of St. Matthew. And I was shocked about this image because I realized that how ignorant I was. Even if in my 9 years of studying photography and cinematography, 7 years camera operator, nobody told me about this genius. They just one line, just marked one line of sunlight into darkness, creating an incredible sentence for all of us. An immortality way to say this is the difference of the separation between humanity or divinity, between past and future, between unconscious and consciousness, between light and shadows. Well, those kind of separation was intriguing me. Probably all my work was influenced by this painting, even when I was not thinking. My non-knowledge of art, the Caravaggio teach me, the Plato teach me, the Mozart teach me later, practically give me the chance that for me to stop after Apocalypse Now for 1 year, don't do any other movie, and start to again to be that great moment that I had in the school, be a student. I fill up all the several books, searching some more, and I started symbology, physiology, dramaturgy of color. And that's another chapter of my life, open after that. Film school, academy or institution of cinema or photography, they never teach us in the knowledge of art, mainly technology, which is very important technology, of course, in order to be able to portray it, to realize the idea. But nobody is explaining to us the meaning, the philosophy of light, the philosophy of color. And that was really stuck to me for several years already, particularly from the first time I was in front to some specific painting, or reading some specific book, or hear some specific music. And I said to him, this is something that I need to know. How I can lit an interior or exterior of the building, or if I don't know which kind of style belong to. Because that style means the way of living in that time. The Romanesque architecture was just before the end of the world, what people would say, year 1000. And there was some kind of fear of something that's going to happen. The Gothic is something that was already open, like having more love of God, love towards the sky, towards the future. So everything changed also compared to the way the windows are built. If they are very small, closer, or very up, the light change into this kind of architecture. Renaissance is a search for equilibrium. Baroque is the kind of power that is put it on the building compared to the power the main kings or pope or prince had at that time. So each style belonged to a specific period of time. We need to know. We don't have to be an architect or a painter or a philosopher or a sculptor or musician, but some kind of knowledge we need to have in order to be more conscious about the politics that we do anyhow when we say this is the light, or maybe better, maybe be in shadows. That little changed completely my personality.
Hello? Gatsby, hello?
I did 1 day of shooting that was totally insecure. I was totally panicked. I lost the kind of love for my creativity, and I would start to worry. I would start to worry that the exposure was not right, the filter was not correct, the shot was not in focus, everything was not precisely in the way that we want to be. And I had 24 hours of a really nightmare. And I remember Marilu, the photographer, told me, Vittorio, in photography and cinematography, that we have to deal with the mystery of the system itself. If we lose this link between ourselves and the creativity that really keep with incredible love what we're doing, we are lost. And I remember that line since ever. And till you love what you're doing so much and so strongly, you never fear. If you start to be in a kind of doubt or your possibility, you don't have the strength to try, to experiment, to go beyond the limit of technology that you know already. In this case, you are trapped. And if you trap your fantasy, your freedom, your intelligence is being locked. If you lock, don't do cinematography. Today, any video camera, you just push a button and you feel I'm doing my own movie. But if you don't know why, if you don't know the reason, if you don't know the meaning, if you film in one way to another, and which kind of emotion is going to be changed, if you're using one light on this point or not another point, if you make a flicker, you making shadows or not, everything can change because there is a very specific meaning in symbolically in light, shadows, and in any single color. So it's something that should be known. If you really want to do in a conscious way cinematography, my opinion that we should never stop be a student. My opinion is the fact that when you finish the school, if you do the school, and not everybody do the school or any school, you never should think that you're already done, that you already know everything. This is just the beginning. So to be an eternal student is my advice. Never stop to do research, never stop to study, never stop to reading books, learn from literature, the way that a movie also is evolving. Never stop to hear music, good music, in order to understand the rhythm that the symphony or concert should have, because this is mainly the rhythm of the cinema should have. Never stop watching painting to understand composition of an image, very, very important. Never stop to watching movie, and never stop to watching whoever was before of us. Only knowing the past, you can have a good behavior in the present to prepare your future.
Paratroopers jump at 90 meters. I mean, 90 meters, 70 meters. I mean, that's crazy.
I think that each one of us, in any moment of our life, doesn't matter which kind of profession we're doing, are receiving energy from all over the world that is around us, and at the same time is sending energy. This energy, that's why when we're watching a screen and we're watching an image, we receive some kind of emotion, because that light, that shadows, that color bouncing on the screen, arriving on us, we don't see that only with the eyes, we see with the entire body. We are a photographic film, practically, because light is energy. So this vibration arriving on us change our metabolism, change our blood pressure. So now I'm sending some vibration to you, to the camera, to the film. I'm receiving from the camera operator, whatever it is, unconsciously. I don't know exactly what, the wavelength or much or whatever. But I'm sure that now the image that is being captured right there is the sum of this light right here, is the sum of our thought all together, that's going over there, and the film is able to have a registration of this emotion. So is much more sensitive that the technician that is around to us are telling to us. Is able to have our emotion, put it over there. Cinematography is really the possibility to writing with light movement, like the word itself means, in a sense that like the writer is writing the story of the film through literature, like the musician is writing the story of the film with the notes in order to achieve that kind of emotion, we are trying to do exactly the same thing with light. Practically, once we understand the main concept of the picture, and we understand from the director, which is the main lead, let's say the main direction that we're supposed to go, in using our tools, our light, shadows, colors, that's what we are supposed to do, and we're supposed to write with light the entire story in order to, together with the musician and the writer, under the direction of the director, of course, we are giving the right emotion to an audience. If the audience, in order to follow in a balanced way a story, need to receive a similar, let's say, direction from, we should never forget that cinema is a language of images. So image is the first impact the audience has. And through this image, you're receiving some kind of vibration. And through that image, you're receiving the music or the words, and they all three together are leading him into a specific state of emotion. If those three are in balance, you probably will have a good movie.